Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, I just want to appreciate you guys and let you guys know how much I appreciate all the love, the suggestions, and the feedback I've been getting from you guys from TikTok, from Twitter, from YouTube. I really appreciate it. And if you guys have a suggestion on an upcoming topic that you want me to do or anything that happens in a league, let me know in the comments down below. This channel is for discussion of sports, and if you have anything, let me know in the comments. I'll get to it. I'll reply to you. I'll talk about it. But yeah, aside from that, let's jump into this video. So today I wanted to talk about Kevin Durant. So yesterday, Sunday, the Brooklyn Nets were playing against the Miami Heat, and this was one of Kevin Durant's few games back because he's missed like 2 months this year. He's missed like 2 months or 2 or 3 months due to injury, right? So you can imagine people's reaction or people's disappointment when one of the best players in the league, especially Kevin Durant, is rendered useless and can't play for like 2 weeks. Especially with all the injuries that have been littered throughout the league this year, like LaMelo, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid was injured, LeBron got injured, Stephen Curry got injured. Like, it's just not been a good outing for the league in terms of injuries, right? So people want to see their stars play, and so you can imagine how disappointed everybody was to see Kevin Durant come back, for them to be excited for Kevin Durant to come back, and then for him to immediately go, for him to get immediately bounced out due to injury. Because while playing on Sunday, he got into a collision with the player and had a high leg contusion. And although I'm not a doctor, I do know that this injury is gonna keep him out for at the bare minimum 2 weeks. 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, right? And I'm not a doctor, but there is a channel on here on YouTube that actually talks about, that talks about injuries in sports. He's a doctor. His name is Brian Suterer. You can check him out on here. I'll leave a link in the description down below. And yeah, so you can check out, if for full detail on the injury, you can check out the video. And yeah, but I wanted to talk about Kevin Durant in particular. Like, is this becoming an issue for Kevin? Like, I know he had no control. I know he had no control over someone bumping into his leg, right? But man, Kevin Durant's getting injured an awful lot for my liking, right? Like, if you like this spans back about 2 years. This has been going on for about 2 years now, right? So if you remember, against that Kevin Durant's last run with the Golden State Warriors, if you remember, after they had just beaten the Los Angeles Clippers, Kevin Durant, I think, got injured. I don't know if it was against Portland. It was against a team in a conference. Yeah, it was against Portland, I think. No, it was Kevin Durant got injured in the conference finals, and he didn't play the conference finals, right? And he got injured, and he got pressured to come back to play in the finals because they're at risk of losing, which was a bad judgment call. He ended up tearing his Achilles. An injury that's not for the faint of heart, an injury that's not something to scoff at, right? He gets injured, his Achilles, and he has to miss a whole year, right? He finally comes back. He leaves Golden State. He comes back with Brooklyn, right? Plays a few games, gets injured again, right? He gets injured. He didn't play the 2020 season, and then again he comes back this year, gets injured again, and he has to be out for 2 months, right? Comes back after that 2 months, plays like 3 games, gets injured. Like, this is becoming an issue. Like, 1 time is an accident, 2 times is a coincidence, 3 times, that's a pattern. It's becoming a pattern for Kevin Durant, and he reminds me of Derrick Rose. Like, after Derrick Rose had that huge knee injury, it was downhill for him ever since then. He never became the player. He never even became half the player he could have been, right? And it's sad to see, because I think that's what's happening to Kevin Durant. Like, there's no way I can sit here and think that Kevin Durant, for the playoff run that's coming up for Brooklyn, here, there's no way that I can sit here and think confidently that Kevin Durant's going to be able to be healthy for this playoff run, right? And that's one of the knocks I have on Brooklyn, on the Brooklyn Nets. That's one of the things that could stifle them from actually getting to the championship, is how fragile they are. If you don't know, this is not only a Kevin Durant issue. Kyrie Irving is like this. Kyrie Irving is out every other week, man. Kyrie is out every other week with a knee injury, with a whatever injury. It's hard to get them to play a full season, you know? And when you think about it that way, you think, wow, the Brooklyn management must be happy as hell that they went out and they got, well, no, they didn't even go out. James Harden came to them. He has to be the best insurance plan in this entire league. The dude's an Iron Man. Barring this season, James Harden rarely gets injured, right? And that's one of the issues that he had, is that he'd play like the whole 82 games, right? And then come playoffs, he would be exhausted, right? And so I guess that's like a insurance plan for the Brooklyn Nets, because they got someone, a really good player in James Harden that can play you 82 seasons. That'll get you to the playoffs, regardless of who's on a team. Like James Harden, you know, like I don't know if it's a James effect, because this happens with LeBron James too. It doesn't matter who's around him, he gets you to the playoffs. At least the bare minimum, he'll get you to the playoffs. So the management in Brooklyn must be happy as hell that they got James Harden, because, you know, at least he can get them to the playoffs. But after that, you know, all's fair in love and war. I don't know what's gonna happen after that, you know, because Kevin Durant, I don't know if he's healthy all the time. Kyrie Irving, he's not too reliable, and you know that I think is their biggest obstacle to making the championship, not the Philadelphia 76ers. Injuries on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, because those guys are like, it's like they remind me of that one character from SpongeBob who's like, my legs are made out of bones and my skin's made out of paper or something, and every time I walk I break something.
This'll be the best lie yet.
Yeah, this guy'll feel so sorry for us, he'll have to buy all of our chocolate.
What can I do for you boys?
Hello, sir. Would you like to buy a chocolate bar? We need an operation.
Really? Small world. What's the matter with you guys?
We've got some head trauma and eternal bleeding.
Some guys have all the luck. I was born with glass bones and paper skin. Every morning I break my legs, and every afternoon I break my arms. At night, I lie awake in agony until my heart attacks put me to sleep. Oh, no! No! Ow.
Those guys remind me of that, you know, and it's just concerning. And I hope injuries don't play a big role for the Brooklyn Nets this season, because I really want to see LeBron, Kevin Durant in the finals again. Last time we saw that was in 2012, and James Harden and Kevin Durant were babies back then, you know, and now, you know, like imagine how great of a story that would be, right? LeBron finally meets Kevin Durant in the finals. James Harden, after years of being in a conference finals, finally makes it to the championship, right? And then LeBron's bitter ex and Kyrie Irving is also there for, you know, the showdown, and it'll be a great story. It'll be a great series. That's what I want to see. Like, as good as, sorry to the Philadelphia fans, as good as Philadelphia is, I want to see Kevin Durant versus LeBron James. I want to see James Harden in the finals again. So I think that'll be a better finals for everybody, and I hope injuries don't play a huge role. And my prayers go out to Kevin Durant. Hope he makes a full recovery, a speedy recovery, and he can come back. And yeah, he's gonna miss at least 2 weeks at the bare minimum, 3 weeks, and then he'll be back. And by that time, James Harden will be back too, and they'll get the thing rolling. And I hope injuries don't play a big role. And if you're management in Brooklyn, you gotta start thinking, like, man, these guys are injured a lot, you know, like for the money we pay them, they're injured a lot. So you gotta have that in the back of your mind when you go into free agency and the players you sign, you know, like you're playing with a bunch of, you know, fragile dudes. So yeah, those are just my thoughts on Kevin Durant's injuries. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Kevin Durant is fine? Do you think it's not a big issue? Do you think, like, you know, they'll be good for the finals? Let me know in the comments down below. And like I said, if you have any topics that you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments down below and I'll get to it, you know? Aside from that, see you dudes.